Hello, my name is Corciova.florin. I would like to tell you something about this project that I'm very passionate about. I learned about Blue Line and the Formula Student competitions a few years ago when I was in bachelor, but I managed to join the team much later. But what I wanted to say is that joining this team was a great experience, and not only that I made new personal experiences, but I also improved myself on the professional side. So I really recommend to everybody that has the opportunity to join a program like this to do it. Additionally, I also want to say for the people who don't have any experience with Formula Student, what is it about? It is a international engineering design competition that it was first held in 1979, and the purpose of this competition was to experience, build, and learn, um, and use also all the knowledge that you had uh, experience in school, and also to use them in a practical way. Additionally to this, you can also improve your skills on engineering projects, on management, on teamwork, because the teams are mostly splitted in departments, and in the final stage, when you are going with the car to the competition, you need to present yourself for the static events and for the dynamic events. And for the dynamic events, you need to have a car that is running, and you have to perform on the acceleration, on the skid pad, on the autocross, and on the endurance. And for the static part, you need to present a business presentation, a cost report, and a design report. And what I want to show you today is the electric side overview from 2022 that we implemented on the car, and also present a short overview of the team. But the idea of this video is to be under 20 minutes and to have the most informations that is possible to give to somebody on this short amount of time, and to also get some feedbacks with what we are missing, what we can improve for next years. So the team, you can see it here in the picture. Uh, this is the team that completed the car for 2022. On the left side on the top is the teacher, the coordinator of the program. And every year we are trying to improve. And to improve, we are also finding some inspirations. Because I don't want to go into those parts, I want to go directly to the overview on the technical side. I will jump through this part so we can go to the technical side. So regarding the low voltage documentation, what we are preparing for the car, we are having two sides. One side it's for the front side for low voltage documentation, and the other side is for the back side where we have also the engine. We did it like this because we are covering mostly two main harnesses in the car that they need to be united on the ECU, but some of the components are in the front, some are in the back, so we need to make a compromise. We start with the cover page. After that, we are following the project with content. We are also having a BOM description. I will go into more details about this part. We also have a component location overview to see exactly what components we have on the car, where, and if we have any critical areas. We also go more in detail on the schematic for the sensors and the connectors. This part is important for the splicing points. We are also having for debugging purposes electric schematic for pin to pin, the foam board view and the manufacturing view. But I will go in more details on this. Following we have the cover for the backside of the electric harness. We have the components for the front side, how they are splitted on the harness, the foam board, and again the manufacturing side. And additionally, when we are completing with all the project, we are connecting all the BOM in all the data that we have in the BOM, and we are exporting and analyzing exactly to see the numbers of pins and all of those details. But regarding this part, we can also see it here in the BOM files that we have an overview of the quantity of each component, where it is, what is the name of it. But this is a simple export that we are doing in Zukan. Mostly, if the project is complete, when this is only one click, so it's not that complicated. After that, we are also having overview with the position of all the components. This is very helpful for the people that they are not that familiar with the electric system that we have implemented that year in the car, and they can follow up very easily each detail that we have on it. Like I said, for the internal combustion engine, we are making a special layout uh, because we need to take in consideration the splicing areas, and also we need to see exactly how we are doing the branching for the engine. Uh, in the backside, it was marked that it was a critical area, but now we go more in detail and we are looking exactly to see at what temperature we have what area, so we know exactly the right cables and the right protection for the cables. On the right side, we have the pin-to-pin uh, connect to pin-to-pin explained file, and over there we can see exactly what pin we are expecting to see where, and this is useful for the debugging part. And we are following the same concept that we are also having on the cables. I will go more in details about this because we have some internal standard for cable naming and to identify them. The foam board, actually, the foam board in that year, we managed to have from Zukan a license that was for students, and we couldn't do the manufacturing on foam board one-to-one. So we did the foam board on A3, or I don't remember exactly the format, but we did it in a smaller format. It was very helpful for the cross-checking on the end when we are doing the pin-to-pin. We knew exactly what to check, where to check, but the one-to-one ratio harness was developed on a different foam board that we manufacture internally. And additionally to that, like I said, we are cross-checking to see exactly how many pins we have, what is the manufacturer, what maybe we can find that manufacturer that is delivering the same components in a different location, and we are just checking for better prices. Additionally, for the safety part, here we are changing a little the format, but we are still keeping the cover page, the BOM export, the view from the safety components. But here we are changing a little the view of the components and the lengths of the cables. Uh, and we are doing this only because we are having more logs in the system, and we can represent them on the schematic side. And when we are doing this, it's much easier to follow up exactly what log is going where. And additionally to this, we are doing the view of all the cables that are connecting the parts from SolidWorks, and after that we are exporting it into Zucon so we can have the view. For the manufacturing side, actually, for the manufacturing side, we start doing it in at the beginning. We are splitting all the components to see exactly what type of components, if they are sensors, what type of signal they need, what kind of cables, if they are part of the power grounding, where we are making the common ground, if it's grounding from the battery, how it is, where we can make a common place to bring all the, the common groundings. If we can eliminate some of the extra weight, because in some cases we are running with thick cables here, and we can eliminate some of them. Additionally to this, we are also finding the power suppliers and the electric consumers. We are calculating to see exactly each consumer, so we can see exactly what cross-section of cable we can use. And after that, we are starting to build our electric harness. We are following 7 steps process. This process actually was bring to us after following some online courses from High Performance Academy. And the 3D part that I mentioned before, actually we got inspiration from Udemy. We follow Alexander Design over there, and we saw a lot of good things that we implemented in SolidWorks. He is making the presentation in Katia, yeah, but we are working in SolidWorks, so it's much easy for us to adapt to what his ideas in our software. And the same we are doing here. We follow the online course from High Performance Academy, and what we can apply in our garage, we are doing it. So this 7-step model that they presented there, it was very useful for us. And at the beginning, we are just specifying the circuits and design. We are looking for the layout and routing. We are preparing the wires for splicing. We are branching and putting bundling. We are putting the preparing the labels and color standardization. Actually, here we also had to add some extra Uh, I will explain later. It's complicated to say it without having the pictures in front of me. We are using cables from a helicopter company, and when I reach that slide, I will go more into details. Um, After it's the connection installation, and finally we are testing to see if we have contacts between the right pins. And for this we are using the foam boards that I was presenting early from made in Zukan to make the pin-to-pin. In the course that we had from High Performance Academy, and we also used that at the beginning for pin-to-pin validation. It was Excel file, but in time I realized, but that working with new guys, it's a little tricky to just present a Excel file and tell him just look at this pin to that pin. They need to have a more a visual uh, case to see it. So this is why we switched to Zukan. It's more of a visual part. Here is the mock-up. I will just go over this part because it's not that important. If it is necessary and you want more information, I can offer to it. I will leave my email at the end of the presentation. This is the one-to-one that we had to do for the real harness that it was on the car. We also had a calculator before to see exactly the length of the cables and how much cable we will need for this for the construction. But I will not go into details because we are not using this anymore. We are exporting all the informations now in the BOM. This is how the bundle is looking, and I mentioned something about a new standardization. So In our case, I will just go to this slide and I will just shortly introduce with what we are dealing. We got in contact. Actually, we are very lucky that we have this helicopter company close to our city, and we got in contact with them, and we ask if we have any possibility to give a new purpose to the electric harness that they are taking down after servicing the helicopters and they are not using anymore. And they are okay with this. But the cable is in very good condition. It's silver plated with the isolator, with a very good isolator that is resisting to high temperatures. We are classifying the cable, we are putting it onto rolls. Everything that you see here, it is, let's say, having a second life. The rolls are from 3D printers. The cables came from the helicopter company, and we are putting it into AVG from 10 to 24, and after that we are reusing that cable, and our electric harness is looking something like this after we are reusing it. But to have all of this, we need to re-standardize. The electric cables that are coming from the helicopters are already having a marking on it, and we are not using that marking, so we have to make our own standard. And our own standard is like this. We have on the end thermotubes, and each type of combination of thermotube coloring, it's representing something. So, for example, if we are having 12 volts on that cable, we are having two red thermotubes at the end. Additionally, we are having 5 volts. It's one red thermotube. If we have battery ground, we are having two black thermotubes. If we have ground from the ECU for the sensors in general, we are using only one black thermotube. For the cables that we have no thermotubes at the end, we are using that for signals. Additionally to this part, we have also the labeling, and the labeling is with letters, so it's very visible. We know exactly what to expect on that branching, and also this part is very critical for debugging, and the same structure that we have here on the signal with all those signals we are having also on the schematic. Okay, so I'll continue now. Um, at the beginning of the year, when before we start to implement what we want to do on the car, we are also having an overview of the what we will do over the year, and now we are in the stage of getting feedbacks with what we can improve for next year. So we are trying in this period to improve as much as possible our schedule and whatever we can do so we can work faster with less resources. And one of the points that we are trying to cover is also working schedule, so it will not overlap with our classes from the university. And additionally to that, every year we are having analyze at the end of the year to see exactly what went wrong, what we can improve, what solution we can bring. We are also trying to make a layout for the car with what we want to implement in it, with what structure we have, with what components we will add, and at the end of the year we are having a time plan with all the parts that we developed during the year, and sometimes we are adding something new on our car, and we are putting that in consideration. And all the time when we are taking a new part, we are developing a new part, or we are developing something that it was developed for that year. We are trying to test it and to validate it. We are doing all of this so we can just cover all the important aspects, so it will not fail during the year. And the department is also covering debugging on the racing track. So whenever we are having testing sessions, we are going on the racing track, we are analyzing together with the rest of the team everything that is happening. Before going there, we are also having a plausibility checklist to check all the sensors to see if everything is running fine, if we have any problems with any of the sensors. So, because our time is limited over there. And during the year, we are also trying to follow up researchers, so we can see if we have any new ideas to implement. So, and here are some examples. We found some articles. This one is, for example, from production. This is how they are making manufacturing on the foam board and the supports, and how they are placing the connectors. Some environmental testing with sol spray for splicing. We also found some ideas with heat dissipation in an electric bundle. That this is very interesting to follow through, so you can see what we can improve in a bundle, so it will cool faster if we can shrink the diameter more than what we are doing. We are also taking in consideration the wear in time, and we found some nice additional informations for that. Also for crimping, we did our own crimping in the for our connectors, using all the cables that we had in from the helicopter company. And we also use that information to cross-check exactly to see if we are doing the right crimping. If we are, we did also a pull test with all the cables that we got, with with all the crimping tools that we had. So we try to standardize also that part so we can use it later for our project. Um, if it is necessary at the racing track, we are also offering support like thermal analyzers for some specific components of the car. And all of this we are trying to do it in a team. We are trying to help together the build up and understanding of the car. And I'm taking this opportunity to thank again for inspiration, or our uh, main inspiration channels, to be honest. And I want to tell you, in case you have any feedbacks and or any additional things that you can tell us how we can improve, feel free to contact me. You have here my email. And thanks for your attention. Thanks one more time for the support, and have a nice day. Bye bye.